is Sport Fishing Championship.
We have reached the 50-yard line. Stop number 3, the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament. Comanche Cove Yacht Harbor, St. Augustine, Florida. These guys have been out there fishing all day long. We're ready to give you the recap, tell you what's happening here throughout the afternoon. Robbie Floyd and Peter Miller here with you. Third stop of the Sport Fishing Championship, the first standalone Atlantic stop. Peter, some of our fleet that's out there today, again, it's a 3-day tournament, but they pick which 2 days they want to compete in, so we're not seeing all boats out there all 3 days.
That's right, Robbie. There is a lay day in the tournament, so you're going to kind of pick your weather day. And here we have Team Half a Buck earlier today working on a fish. They got their 80 wide. They're in the chair. They're ready to give some special care to a blue marlin.
And they had already caught one on day 1. This was this morning. This would be their second of the tournament. This is a team who's went back to back to back, looking to go 4-peat.
Yeah, they've done quite a job out there. It's probably, one of the top boats in this area for sure. When you can win tournaments that often and that frequently and consecutively, that speaks a lot about your team and about the consistency. I mean, that is just second to none. 4 or 5 tournaments in a row, possibly.
Beautiful thing about that is seeing that or hearing that sound at 8:30 this morning. Half a Buck released a blue marlin, puts them on top. You see Polarizer released the first blue marlin of the tournament on day 1 at 12:01. If somebody would actually caught one today that didn't fish day 1, if they would have caught one earlier in 12:01, they would have got that extra 100 bonus points. Again, the blue marlin worth 350 points. If you catch that first blue marlin, an extra 100 points. So let's take a look at the updated leaderboard as it stands right now. Again, today is almost finished. We still have about another 2 hours of fishing, but Half a Buck, 700 points ahead of Polarizer's 450. So the next blue marlin Polarizer catches, they jump ahead of Half a Buck.
That's right, and that's that special thing about that extra 100 points. We talk about it all the time. Polarizer had a situation here where you have a lay day, which is a very unique situation for the Sport Fishing Championship, and it allowed the boats that went out today that hadn't fished yesterday to try and fish and get that first fish as well, and they could have got the 100 points.
Welcome to our Salt Life studios, our Salt Life Bluewater tournament here at Comanche. It sounds like Comanche, but it's Comanche. That's the official dude. But Comanche Cove Yacht Harbor, 250-something boats can park out here. It's a nice place, isn't it?
It's a beautiful space, and there's 275 boats. They have a 170 boat waiting list. A buddy of mine, he's the director of the tournament, Paul Dozier. I can't wait to see him later. This is an exciting event. 15 boats. There's 9 boats on day 1. There's 8 boats fishing on day 2. And on day 3, there's going to be 13 boats fishing. So they take a lay day. They prepare. They kind of check the weather to see what's happening. And you gamble. Hopefully, if you lay on the right day, you fish on the right day, you catch your fish.
You did all my work for me, man. You laid that all out there. Let's take a look out on the water yesterday. Team Polarizer, again, that first blue marlin, and they will be in our entirety of the Atlantic Division. We will crown an Atlantic Division champion. That bonus is worth $100,000, Peter. So we're seeing Polarizer at the catch with NFL guys. Now we're seeing them in the SFC on the tour.
That's right. I just ran into the mate from the Polarizer. They are taking a lay day today, but you can see them putting out the dredges with their LPs, and they had an unfortunate incident. Actually, somebody actually snaked the LPs off their boat in Palm Beach, and they had to borrow some reels while they were here to be able to deploy those dredges. Those are $5,000 reels, $7,000 reels, depending on the schools. But you can see right here, they're getting a bite.
This is Greg Robinson, the son of the owner of Polarizer, George Robinson. First was reported that George made the catch, but it was Greg. We got a lot to talk about on this catch, too, because a lot was going on.
Yeah, it looks a little sloppy out there. That's pretty rough water. They got the fish up in the teaser. They're filming the teaser. He's pitching. He's got it out to the side in that clean water. You always want to have in that clean water so the fish can see it. You want to keep your rod tip low so the fish doesn't have to jump out of the water to eat it. And you're just hoping that they switch off that dredge, off that teaser, onto that pitch bait that he has in his hand.
Not a ton of people in that boat, it doesn't look like either. We see a mass of persons on most boats, but really a couple in the back doing their job. You see the one that could be reeling in is also using the electric reels behind, bringing in those teasers. This fish actually didn't act right. It got really, really close to the boat, and Greg said he saw it right at the back. I mean, right at the back. He's like, whoa, this isn't going to be good.
You see, he's getting a bite right there. While they were waiting for that dredge bite, the fish faded back, and it looks like he may be dropping on a fish.
And that's what he said. He said it didn't want the ballyhoo on the left, and he went to the right. So I guess they're pulling in those teasers at that point. I'll be curious to see if it swipes it going right.
It's a very fluid situation. You want to be able to bring it in, drop it back out, and you just have to tease that fish up. It's a constant balance there. You in, out, pitch it, bring it in. He's on the left, he's on the right, he's on the long, he's back up in the spread, he's right on the transom. When they're right at the transom, it's very tough to get them to eat them. When they're right in that whitewash, they'll usually fade back and eat.
There's the mate you were talking about. He's trying to pump up George. George's out there and said, all right, we got this, we got this. Again, this is not a very quick process. This is a fish that they saw and spotted and enticed to bite. And when it didn't bite the ballyhoo, he said he actually caught it on the flying
he's
fish.
on right there, Robbie. That's finally the rod that got it. That fish moved from bait to bait to bait with the frequency of a cheap ham radio. That fish was looking to eat, and it wanted to eat it, and it finally did. A lot of times they get a little finicky at the boat. They're not totally impressed. It's like walking into your nightclub wearing Drakkar Noir, and they go, hey, wasn't that from the 1980s, Robbie? Maybe you want to get to your Cartier, stuff like that. Bring it up a notch. That's what they did. Their long bait looked exactly like it should have looked, and that's why it ate it. Now they're on. They're straight up and down.
So that ballyhoo it didn't want any part of. George said that just before that he was in the boat and he saw a flying fish smack the boat. It committed suicide. It flew into the boat. He said, let's rig it up. That's actually what caught that fish, a dead flying fish that just smacked the boat, went out there.
That's impressive. You know, those flying fish have a tendency to get up and fly, and you look at them like they know where they're going. But guess what? A little gust of wind, it's not good. Like if you clean the windows really well with Windex, you're gonna have a bird fly into your window. It's gonna happen if you got good light. Same thing with a flying fish. If you got a boat going by and they jump out of the water, you're going 30 miles an hour, boom, he's knocked lights out. And they used it to their advantage. They rigged it up, put it out, and that's what caused that marlin to eat. And that is the difference with making moves like on the go. You have to be ready to go at a moment's notice.
When you have that happen, and I know we can't use live bait out there, but that bait was no longer with us. But you can't get any fresher than that as far as the imitator. And how do you get flying fish? You don't, right? I mean, you're not going to get a flying fish out there and go, oh, you know what? I think I'll decide to throw a flying fish right now.
Yeah, it's really tough. It's not. You have to go buy flying fish. People do harvest flying fish. I don't know how they do it. You know, they must use some sort of nets. They do eat bait. A lot of times when you're fishing at night, they'll fly into the boat, but that's, obviously just singles here and there, kind of rare. But yeah, flying fish is a very common bait. They make these rubber flying fish that look identical. We use it for tunas, but they got to fish the boat real quick. This is that fun size blue marlin, the one that gets to the boat super fast. He's got him on relatively light tackle, and that is exactly what you want. He's had the leader 3 times already, so that's a catch. And there goes the fish right in that whitewater.
Yeah. Still didn't quite know that he's been released yet, but had to be able to put him on the fish. Greg with, he hadn't been. He's still on. It is a qualified catch when you make contact with that leader. All the way up there. Again, Captain Bill.
I love seeing those fish in that whitewash because they just stand out. It's like this black lit up fish in that white water. It looks beautiful.
You can tag as well. The tag of that fish, catch, release, and it will be caught again someday.
Woo! Yeah, baby! Ready work. Let's go. Ready work. Ready work, boys. Nice job, guys. Good job, Cal. Let's go.
Greg, how was that?
Dude, that was so sick. You got this. Came up on the right teaser, scattered all the way to the left side. Once he baited off the left teaser, he went underneath the boat, turned right back around. I thought he was going this way, so I'm looking that way. My pitch bait's over here. He just came up, boom, piled on me. Lassoed him around the bill, came tight. All good.
Nice job, guys.
Solid run, swipe from the side like you talked so many times. Our Ocean Blue Yacht Sales replay of the tournament. There she is. He questioned whether he was going to get her. He did, and it was a side swipe. And that's the kind you want, right?
That was a fast side swipe too, but the guys stayed alert, they stayed present, and you have to be able to look at everything. Your eyes are kind of like rolling around a 360. You got to be like an owl tilting that head around, and this guy just picked it up off that long left. And lighter tackle, mobile in the cockpit, beautiful.
That's your Ocean Blue Yacht Sales replay of the tournament.
Look at that. You see the remora on his back, Robbie?
What is that, a moray?
It is a remora. Yes.
That was last tournament.
It's right on his back getting a free ride. He's like, man, what am I on? Am I in a tornado right now? Where's Helen Hunt? Are we tornado searching, storm chasers? But yeah, we got a flying remora there. It's pretty rare to see that one. Usually in the gills or on the underside, but not on the back.
Here they're tasty.
Now stick to the pan, Robbie, always.
High five, very nice. All of our YouTube fans able to watch us, and remind everyone that we will be at the top of the hour on CBS Sports Network. Team Polarizer catches the first blue marlin of the tournament, and with it, 450 points.
Yeah, and even if you're not a YouTuber, that's what's great about this. You can go to the sportfishingchampionship.page.com and just click on the YouTube page and go to live, and you'll be able to watch this as we speak.
Again, they're still out there fishing right now. We're bringing it to you live on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We've still got more to talk about here. The Sport Fishing Championship from Comanche Cove, Yacht Harbor, in St. Augustine, Florida.
SFC coverage of the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament is sponsored by Frito-Lay, Michelob Ultra, Denison Yachting, and by Salt Life.
When it comes to performance, comfort, and functionality, we've got you covered. Performance apparel designed by anglers to make your time on the water better than ever. Salt Life, the official apparel sponsor of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
This spring, settle in and reconnect with one another. South Padre Island has so many great places to stay. Condos, resorts, and hotels. Oh my! Book your spring getaway today. And start making memories poolside with the people you care about most. Visit SoPadre.com.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
Pine tar, bay rum, all natural, all natural.
It's time for your old soap to take a
hike with Dr. Squatch, the best natural men's soap, deodorant, shampoo, and so much more.
Dr. Squatch is for players like Justin Herbert, who are here to shake things up,
Who break records?
and hearts, who are tough on the outside and soft on the skin side, who only use natural performance enhancement and want their end zone to be fresh.
Go to drsquatch.com today. Feel like a man, smell like a champion.
Are you ready for the ultimate luxury fishing experience? Join the Sport Fishing Championship talent on the SFC Experience, where you'll explore incredible fisheries and enjoy world-class hospitality from diverse cultures and SFC partner locations. With the SFC Experience, you'll create unforgettable memories with friends, families, or colleagues. Book your trip today and embark on the adventure of a lifetime with the SFC Experience.
SFC coverage of the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament is sponsored by BioLite, Publix, Durabright, and by Hopwater.
Katie here, and I'm at the Island Breeze with Christy Corrigan. Christy's taking the kids out today, and I'm really excited.
We're about to have 30 different groups this summer from all local camps around the area, so we're excited.
Well, we're excited to be here. Thank you so much for all that you do, and let's go. Yeah, let's go.
So we're going to talk about plankton today.
So Florida Water Tours is a local for-profit company here in St. Augustine, and they run dolphin and wildlife adventures and sunset cruises. So they created an educational nonprofit, and part of their ticket proceeds goes into the Florida Water Warriors, and it's all about marine science, getting the kids out on the water for low cost or for free, specializing with special needs and underprivileged school groups, and just getting them in the field and out of the classroom and learning more about why we conserve and why we reduce the amount of plastic that we use, and actually get to see these animals in their natural habitat. This is their home, and we're just visitors. How can we help them succeed so that in 20 years from now, these kids still have wildlife and our ecosystems are still sustainable? SFC is a huge donor for us, and for now SFC to be donating this spring with the tournaments going on, we will be able to fund our fall program, which will bring out over 500 students onto the water for free.
Champions. We talk about each and every stop of the Sport Fishing Championship. St. Augustine, Florida is our host city this week. Stop number 3, we've been in the Caribbean, we've been down to the Gulf and Venice, and now we are in the Northeast Florida, and there's our featured teams out on the water. Half a buck, we saw what they've done on the graphics, but we haven't seen what they've physically done out there on the water. Again, the team that has won back to back to back. Can they go another back, Peter?
That's a lot of back. You have to say baby's got back at that point. You know, here's day one. They're waiting for that bite. They're hoping everything goes right. And they got that teaser going down the face of the wave. And that is how you want it. You want the dredges, you know, very visible, the teasers coming down the face. And that's how you get your best bites, because the fish want to come through the middle of the wave to eat. They don't want to come over the top. They don't have to jump down and pounce on it. However, they will, but your best shot is coming down the face.
Teams on the lookout. Now, the thing with these teams are teams that, you know, have had success. I think they've kind of dialed into locations, whether it be the currents, whether it be, you know, the distance, those drops. There's something that they're doing that's been paying off these last 3 years.
Well, you know what they talked about? They talked about yesterday with Katie is that they like to pull lures. They like to cover a lot of ground, and that's kind of their, you know, their technique. And, you know, you got Dominic Shaw in this chair there. He's got his headset on talking to the captain. It's a little choppy out there, not bad, but it's, you know, a little rolly. So he's using that reel that Katie was talking about yesterday, that dual, which is, you know, all retrieve on the forward and then the one-to-one when you wind backwards. It's a unique design. Not any other company has ever done that. I've never seen one before.
As old as we are, at least. Again, this is day number 1 of their 2 days of fishing. They're back out there again today.
You can see them out there, way out there. You know, a lot of these reels will hold 1,000 yards or 850 yards of line, depending on what size the reel is. That is a lot of line. You know, if you think about a football field being 100 yards, imagine 10 football fields. That's quite a distance, and that's why a lot of times they're backing up towards that fish and they're taking up that slack. They probably have a 3-to-1 ratio. Right now, it's getting down and dirty. You're going to wind backwards with that 1-to-1 deal. Now he's back to forward. So they're used to these reels.
It looks
not
like
something
he's
you
lost,
can
and
tell
he's not lost.
the average guy, Robbie. You can't just go, oh, reel forwards, now reel backwards, do this, do that. So you have to really know what you're doing when it comes to that reel. That's a specialty.
You caught me on that one last year. I was like, Peter, what is he back reeling that thing? You're not going to get me again. That is sweet, though. I like it. Unfortunately, some of their reels were stolen as well then here in the Polarizer team. And again, not here, but other events or even out of their backyard. I can't stand thieves. You're seeing the back reel right there. We're just still cranking forward, just at a lower gear.
He's nice and locked into that harness. You know, he's clipped in to those D-rings up there. He's in the bucket, using his hand on the foregrip, kind of holding the rod in place. That's and the fish is at the boat. Let's see how big it is. Nice size fish. That is not a fun size fish. It is a lot of fun, but not fun size. He's got the leader in the hand, and that is a catch. That is an official catch, as we know, and I think they're going to want to get that lure out, get that hook back, and let that fish go. You always want to keep the boat in gear, Robbie. You want to get the oxygen running through their gills as you keep the boat in gear. You want to keep their mouth in the water, and when they look good, you just let them go and they swim off.
They can celebrate again on their way to a possible 4th championship in as many years with 350 points. That was their first blue marlin caught in the tournament. We saw their second to kick off the show. Team Power Play, what were they doing out there? Captain Brian on board. Jesse, our cameraman. Let's see how it was going down for them. Now, we did see some bigger waves than I was expecting earlier, but it looks like bigger clouds out there on day one that we didn't necessarily feel here on shore.
And you never can really tell when you're sitting watching TV when it's rough. It never really looks as rough it is, but you can see them bobbing around. When you see the white water, then you don't see it. They're kind of rolling around out there. And, you know, Brian Scanlon there, he was talking about their technique, and they also like to pull lures and cover a lot of ground. Today is their lay day, but yesterday they got into some mahi, and that was kind of part of their plan. You know, obviously they have ballyhoo, they've got their dredges, but he had talked about they're kind of into lures. They got that comfy deck out there. Look at that gator step.
Cade Macri and Barry Snyder also on board of Power Play. So yeah, we haven't even talked about those championship fish, a possibility as well. There's some big mahi out there. We know there's wahoo possibilities, yellowfin tuna. I heard reports that there was a wahoo, but one didn't come across the stage yesterday. But we did see quite a few mahi caught, but they were the smaller variety.
Yeah, you know, yeah, you can see how rough it is as they're rolling down those waves. You know, you get into the mahi spots, you want to put out ballyhoo. You know, you get them around the boat, and you know how it is. You keep one in the water, that keeps the school around the boat, and you can try to get, you know, the biggest one out of the bunch and release the others. The other day I was fishing and I had a 40-pounder roll up with a hammerhead as we were releasing a sailfish. We tried to bait it, but it wouldn't eat. But that's that kind of championship fish that you want. You want that big one. You want to single him out and throw that bait right on his head.
What we reeling here?
He's probably got a mahi on. Seems like it the way he's taking leaders, like he's gonna throw it in the boat.
Oh,
there you go. It's about a 7-pounder, 8-pounder. That's the kind you put along your waist, and it'll give you a good spanking.
Fun size.
Smooth like butter.
Again,
like butter.
you guys will have those probably to eat later on tonight. And some of the fish are the fish that we bring in that are not like qualifying fish or the championship fish category. They will have a fry or a fish fry or whatever this week while we're here. So they aren't going to waste by any means.
Well, there's enough boats here to do that. And here you have the SFC. Catch the action on that QR code. All you got to do is put your camera up to it on your cell phone. They'll give you a little yellow drop-down menu. Just tap it. It'll tell you everything you want to know about the SFC.
Get Power Play with their off day today. They'll be back out there once again tomorrow. Peter, if you had to do it, would you go day 1 and 2, day 2 and 3, 1 and 3?
Well, Robbie, I just said I'd have to look at the weather. I'd be practice fishing. I'd have to kind of know all the details. It's hard for me to sit here and answer that question, but it looks like the same weather all the way down the line. Well, listen, stick with us. We'll be back in a minute.
In Puerto Rico, we call ourselves Boricua. We're proud, passionate, and full of life. On our island, adventure finds you. Strangers aren't strangers for long. The size of the audience doesn't change the beauty of the music, and we celebrate every last ray of sun. Live Boricua.
Salt Life, the official sunglass partner of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Well, we're waiting.
Louisiana is as fun as all get out. So get out, take a road trip, and explore our state. Fill her up, then try a new restaurant that's as fun-loving as it is food-loving. Grab the family and take off for monumental adventures at our 21 state parks. Or take a magical minivan tour along our 19 scenic trails and byways. Louisiana's a trip. Take one today.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaStaycation.com.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
SFC coverage of the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament is sponsored by Garmin, Invincible Boats, visit South Padre Island, and by SFC Experience.
We're here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida for the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament, and this tournament is a little bit different. This is a 3-day tournament, but the teams can only fish 2 of the 3 days, and all teams must declare which 2 days they're choosing to fish upon registration. Now for the SFC competitors, we award an extra 100 points for that first blue marlin caught, giving the team 450 points. So whether a team chooses to select either Thursday or Friday as their first day of fishing, the first blue marlin caught will be based off of time. For example, one team may choose to start their first day on Thursday and catch a blue marlin at 1 p.m. Another team may start their first day on Friday and catch a blue marlin at 11 a.m. In this case, that team on Friday will be awarded the 100-point bonus, giving them 450 points rather than 350.
Well said, Michelle. And again, we know that Polarizer was the first team to catch a blue marlin. Caught it on day 1, and nobody caught one quicker on day 2. That was their first day. Robbie Floyd, Peter Miller here with you. 100 to 200 miles. I don't think we're seeing any of those 200-mile runs. They're going to stick to 100, even less, Peter.
Yeah, a lot of the boats are going, 40, 50, 60, up to 75, possibly 100 miles, but you don't really need to.
Earlier today, team half a buck after we saw their catch yesterday. They kick things off on day number 2. You always want to see that first catch, and it was a quick one. I think like around 8:30 this morning, team half a buck, the defending champ, with another one on. This is their second blue marlin of the tournament.
Yeah, they're out there on that ledge, going a little deeper than the rest. Some of the teams have different tactics. They want to do more fun fish. They want to do maybe sailfish, wahoo, that sort of thing. But some of the boats say, you know what, I'm in the marlin division, I'm going for it.
Oh man, I did not realize the seas were that busy yesterday. I mean, I'm seeing some rolling.
Poppy, you see that ring at the bottom of the reel? That's where you clip in a safety line when you're fighting a fish, in case you get tip wrapped or when you're trolling or doing anything like that, because that rod will come shooting out of the rod holder, and it's goodbye. It's $3,000 in a drink, and we don't want that to happen. No, but that is what that is used for.
I'd have 3 things hooked up there. I'd have a floater. I'd have all kinds.
Just put your floaties on and hang on to the rod. You'll be fine. We'll come and get you.
You see the cameraman for the boat too. Of course, we have our cameraman on team half a buck. I think Marcos on there today, but they have their own cameraman. That's the one that pays off officially wise, even though they'll use our footage too, because not only do they have a fish, has to be a qualified catch, they have to identify what kind of fish it is. So.
Oh, that's the most important thing, and the best thing is when you can identify it right off the bat. When it eats, most of the guys know what it is, but when it comes to camera work, you have to have that camera. I had a camera guy once that the fish jumped 3 to 4 to 5 times, and he's like, I still don't have it. And I was almost like losing my mind thinking, how is that possible? Everybody saw it but the cameraman. So the cameraman's got to stay on his toes, and he's got to have that camera running. It can't be like, I think I got it. You better see that red record button going. Look at it, put your face in it. That's the most beautiful shot you can get all day, up your nose when you play the tape back, and you get the most unflattering picture of yourself. But at least you got that marlin on camera.
Dominic Shaw with the final reported catch on day 1 and the first catch on day 2. Not letting anybody else in on the fun. I mean, come on, share the wealth. I mean,
that's what he's doing here, Robbie. He's just grinding right now. He's grinding and winding, and they're backing and stacking, and they're trying to get back to this fish to take up all their line. There's no reason to come flying back, possibly do something different. Maybe the hook falls out of the fish's mouth if you go too fast. You know, there's a whole host of things that they're doing here for a reason. Bumping forward, bumping back, playing that little game, that ballet. A ballet of emotions, if you will.
He's making up ground. Looks good. We have, I believe, 4 cameramen out on the boats today. Again, it's kind of a hodgepodge, literally, at times on which boats they're on, because you're expected to go out on a boat on day 2. We had a couple mechanical difficulties for boats that said, okay, we're going to have to push it off to day number 3. They had to identify that yesterday.
And this is always a good sign, Robbie, when you got the mate kind of posted up on the gunnel there, on the covering boards in the back there. He's ready to leader that fish. Looks like they have either a GoPro or tag stick. Not sure what that was. But the fish is close. That's why those guys are there.
Our cameraman getting the good shots, getting Marcos on board. Still a slow reel.
It's a game of inches. That's exactly what it is. And that's why that 1-to-1 ratio on these reels is really important, because when they're down and dirty, you take a pump and get 1 crank. Take a pump, get 1 crank, and that could be the difference of catching it or not. I'll tell you a story about that a little later.
This is a save it. We got top of the hour on CBS Sports Network. We got 2 hours to talk about this and more. And it's great. I've got a fish here at this point. It's caught, but it's not a qualified catch yet until he can touch that leader. That's why he's trying to get as close as he can to make that initial contact.
He's got it. There it is. Always had someone spin in the chair. Got that fish on a leader.
And now the heart can kind of calm down a little bit, right?
You can hear him throw a leader or a lure back into the boat. They got that out of the fish. You heard that clunk on the deck.
Give him gas.
Fish is, yeah. He says, I think he's healthy. He's doing good on the side. I mean, he's like, let me go, let me go.
Yeah.
Damn, buddy, my man.
Great job. Yeah, and it's about conservation. You know, I mean, these are not fish you're going to bring back. Not the Sport Fishing Championship for us. So they're out there. Maybe they'll catch them again tomorrow, or the next day somebody will.
Robbie, sometimes you're using light tackle and you're catching them really fast because they stay up on the surface. You race over, get the leader, cut them off. It's a quick catch. Other times using 80-pound, you're pumping the fish, you get them to the boat, 18, 20 minutes. I mean, it just depends on the fish, on the moment, on where the fish is hooked. It depends on a lot. But these guys obviously figured it out, and they're doing it.
Some of those guys look tore up from the floor up. Only one man was reeling, but they were all working to get that fish in.
Yeah, the pressure is very high.
The pressure's real, and the passion. Like what I did there. Team Half a Buck with their catches so far in this tournament. They've got about an hour and 20 minutes before lines are out on this second day. It's their final day for them, so everybody else will know what they have to do, but they are your leaders right now. The final catch of day 1, the first catch of day 2, and there's still time to catch them today, Pete.
And when you talk about somebody gunning for another boat, they're gunning for half a buck. When you've won it 2, 3, 4 times, you know, everybody wants to beat you, and that's kind of their goal. We have to beat half a buck, which is meaning we're probably going to win the tournament. Let's take a look at For Real. They're up on the top of that ledge.
You like that name, For Real? Are you for real?
Oh, I'm for real. They're fishing today. You know, yesterday was more of a tuna day for them. Look at that Yeti. Some product placement right there.
It was a Mako day, too. Got the dredge, I heard, talking to him.
That's the lighter tackle right there, as you can see.
A lot of young bucks. I heard people on the shore talking about, hey, people making runs. You know, you said 100. I heard one boat said they went 100. These guys, I heard, went even further than that. And people look at me like, really? And they go, oh, yeah, they don't care. These young kids, they don't care. They'll make a run if they think they need to.
There we go. And I noticed looking at the anglers and people on the boat, it's the anglers. A lot of anglers on this boat. That's a nice tuna. Nothing to sneeze at right there. Probably like a 45-pounder, 50-pounder.
Yeah, I think it was 40. I think it was 40. That would be a championship fish, but not beating our best fish of the year. We'll talk more about that on CBS. But Hayden, Mikey, Blake, Jacob, Hunter, Harrison, Kurt, yeah, they had a bunch of people on board.
Oh, yeah, the anglers.
There's your catch alerts for the week as it stands right now. The few yellowfin tuna, about 4 reel. Set the mark. They did bring those in to weigh in. They can bring 2 of our championship fish categories each day. So hopefully they'll come back with a couple more today. We saw quite a few mahi-mahi caught, just none of the larger size.
Yeah, but we've still got time left in the day, and then we have a full day tomorrow, which we're excited about. We're going to have 13 boats out tomorrow.
Pez Vela, actually, the one that caught, it seemed like they caught a ton. They found one piece of floating wood out there, and they hammered them. They're going to eat well tonight.
Ooh, that's a monster. That's one of my favorites. That's the big one.
Again, we've been to the Dominican. We've been to Venice, Louisiana. And now we're in the northeast coast of Florida. Looking for blue marlin. Top of the hour, the Salt Life Bluewater Tournament, 3 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Make sure you tune in just a bit.